One day, out of nowhere, an entire building got sealed in magnetic, metallic bricks. Windows, doors, every single exit was gone. The people trapped inside tried everything to break through the walls, but they couldn't even scratch it. Worse, a woman got caught in that strange wall and lost her life. Now the question is, will they all die one by one? Or is there still a hidden way out? Like every other day, Tim was buried deep in the code of his next game. His co-workers were in a live discussion with him, but suddenly, the lights started flickering, and within seconds, everything blacked out. As soon as work paused, a haunting image flashed in Tim's mind, the nightmare he kept himself busy to forget. It was the very thing that was slowly tearing Olivia away from him. For 2 years, she'd been trying to hold this relationship together all by herself, and Tim, he remained silent. To lighten the mood, Olivia took him out for pizza. That's when they bumped into Mr. Friedman, the man overseeing the building's renovation. It had been 3 months, and yet the same power issues persisted. Friedman just said, "Couple more weeks." Just then, 2 helicopters roared past overhead. Hafen City was burning in the distance, and maybe those choppers were part of the rescue mission. After pizza, Olivia took Tim to check out a brand new RV. Her dream, a fresh start, a long road trip, and then Paris to finally live life again. She had even quit her job. All she needed was Tim. And deep down, Tim wanted to go too. But the trauma he carried kept pulling him back. And this time again, he made an excuse about work. That night, Olivia cried herself to sleep, quietly, because she had made up her mind. This time, she's moving forward, alone. Up on their building's rooftop, a strange fog loomed, something beyond words, beyond logic. Next morning, Tim woke up to the sound of a suitcase zipping shut. He stepped out and saw Olivia, fully packed, ready to leave for the trip alone. And before walking out, she said it, clear and sharp, "You're never gonna change. Your work will never end. I'm not coming back. This is the end of us." But before Tim could say a word, Olivia opened the door, and both froze in their tracks. What they saw felt like a living nightmare. Right outside the door stood a metallic brick wall with strange patterns on it, like someone had surrounded the entire building overnight. Olivia thought it was some crazy prank by Tim, and she snapped at him. But this was no joke. The bricks weren't just at the door. They'd sealed the windows, the vents, every exit. No signal, no Wi-Fi, completely dead. Olivia, panicked, started drilling into the wall, but in just seconds, the drill bit overheated and turned red. They tried the side of the door, same thing. That same brick wall stood in the way, which meant breaking out wasn't even an option. It wasn't carbon fiber, and definitely not liquid granite. Olivia was an architect, yet even she had never seen metal like this. Meanwhile, Tim took his phone close to the wall. His screen began flickering wildly, like some weird signal interference. Now the question was, what the hell was this wall, and who put it there? As they were grappling with those thoughts, strange noises began echoing through the neighboring wall. They quickly drilled a tiny hole, and what they saw sent chills down their spine. The neighboring apartment was sealed off too. Same wall, same suffocation. Inside were a husband and wife, drug addicts, and now driven to the edge by panic. They'd begun to believe they were going to die in there. No food, no water, no way in, no way out. Tim and Olivia rushed to the bathroom, turned on the tap. Not a single drop came out. Tim tried to stay calm. "We're in the middle of the city," he said. "Someone's gonna notice." But Olivia had lost all faith. She snapped, "There's construction going on here, Tim. Who's gonna care?" Her voice trembled. "If you just listened, we would have left last night." She paused. "But now none of it matters, because we're not together anymore." Enraged, Tim hurled his phone straight at the brick wall. The room fell into silence for hours. Eventually, Olivia apologized for snapping. She knew this was far beyond anything they could control. Just then, Tim's eyes landed on the spot where the metal part of the phone had stuck to the wall. That's when it hit him. This wasn't a normal wall. It was magnetic, a brick wall made of pure magnetism, and there were 4 specific spots on it where the magnetic field was strongest. 4 square bricks, like a hidden pattern, a code to unlock it. Olivia instantly grabbed some screws, keys, and scrap metal, trying to stick them to those points. But everything went horribly wrong. All the metal pieces shot back at them like bullets. Without thinking, Tim threw himself in front of Olivia, shielding her. She didn't even get a scratch, but Tim's back was shredded with sharp metal shards. He was bleeding, bad. Olivia pulled them out one by one, bandaged him up as fast as she could, when suddenly more screams echoed from the neighboring apartment, and then silence. They quickly made a larger hole in the wall and climbed through. Inside, the neighbor Anna lay unconscious, blood pouring from her head. Olivia rushed to help her, but out of nowhere, her husband Marvin lunged at Tim. "Get me out of here!" He was screaming like a madman, strangling Tim with both hands. Olivia reacted fast, spraying his eyes and freeing Tim. Tim fought back, but Anna jumped in between, sobbing. "Marvin didn't hurt me. I hit my head trying to break the wall." Marvin was high and unpredictable. They had no choice but to tie him up until he calmed down. While looking around, Tim discovered a private room in their apartment. What he found inside changed everything. The room was filled with tools. Tim grabbed a hammer and smashed it into the brick wall, but it didn't even budge. Then Anna told Marvin what he had done, how he nearly killed someone. Marvin was shaken. He apologized to Tim and for the first time truly realized the gravity of the situation. That's when Olivia had a wild idea. "We're on the first floor. If we break through the floors below, maybe we can reach ground level and then the basement. There might be a way out." Olivia had already studied the building's history. Built in 1897, this place was retrofitted during World War II with air raid shelters, often connected to the city's subway systems. Without wasting time, they began smashing the floor with hammers. Below them lived Mr. Oswald. Tim shouted down to him, but got no response. He tied some clothes into a rope, lowered himself, and as soon as his feet touched the ground, Oswald aimed a revolver at him. He thought Tim was there to steal his supplies. Olivia explained everything from above, but Oswald wouldn't budge. That's when his granddaughter, Leah, stepped in and convinced him. They were just neighbors. After a long, tense pause, Oswald finally spoke, and what he said sent chills down everyone's spine. "In 3 days, these same neighbors will kill you for water." The silence after that was brutal. Still, Leah's plea won him over. But Oswald warned Tim, "You come near her again, I'll end you." The demolition continued. With every hammer strike, the walls trembled. That's when Tim found something buried in the debris, a smoke detector with a hidden camera inside. He froze. When he asked Oswald about it, the truth came out. Friedman, the landlord, had installed all the smoke detectors, and every single one had a camera. Has this entire building been turned into a damn escape room? Is someone out there, watching them suffer, enjoying every second of their panic? Fear flickered in Olivia's eyes. Anna, though, she was sure, this isn't human, this is alien. Everyone had their own theory, but the truth, no one had a clue. And now, all fingers were pointing in one direction, straight at Mr. Friedman. Friedman's apartment was right next to Oswald's. Desperate for answers, they decided to break through the wall and go inside. The air inside was still, eerily still. And then, slicing through that silence, came a sight that made everyone's blood run cold. Right by the main door lay Friedman's dead body, both his hands gone, severed clean off like some merciless machine had sliced them in one brutal stroke. But the scariest part, the hands were missing. So was the killer. Near his body, they found Friedman's phone, and in it were photos of the brick wall. The question now wasn't how he died. It was who killed him and why. Was Friedman part of this twisted game, or just another victim of the same terrifying force? Did all of this somehow connect to the massive fire back in Hafen City near Harvard? Sure, that disaster was miles away, but maybe it wasn't just coincidence. Without a second thought, Marvin began smashing through the ceiling, recklessly. His hammer blows were wild. So wild, in fact, that he crashed down with 2 others. Some were badly hurt. While they were still trying to get their bearings, a stranger appeared out of nowhere. Instinctively, Oswald drew his gun, but the man raised his hands and said, "Wait, I'm not here to hurt anyone. This apartment belongs to my friend Anton. I was just staying here for a few days." He introduced himself as Yuri and asked, "Why are you breaking through the ceilings?" Tim explained everything, their theory about escaping through the basement. But what Yuri said next shocked them even more. He claimed the outside air had turned toxic, that these weren't just some random bricks. This was super ultra high-tech brick wall built to protect them. "If you try to get out through the basement," he said, "you'll all be dead." No one believed him, of course. The tension had barely cooled when Olivia suddenly asked, "Where's Anton? We haven't seen him." A moment of silence followed. Then Yuri said, "Anton was gone. The moment he got too close to that wall, he collapsed. Heart attack, probably triggered by his pacemaker failing because of the wall's tech." Just then, Leah noticed some papers lying on the table, strange patterns sketched across them. That was enough. Everyone decided it was time to leave. Yuri didn't object. He simply stood aside. One by one, they all left. Leah, however, stayed back a little longer, staring at those symbols. Then she too walked out. They broke through the basement floor and climbed down. After a bit of searching, they found a door, a tunnel entrance. Without hesitation, Olivia grabbed a hammer and shattered the seal. The moment that door creaked open, everyone froze in horror. A helpless scream echoed from their throats, and Yuri, he stood there, with the calmest, most eerie smile on his face. But how? They were 2 meters below ground, and yet all around them was that same mysterious brick wall. Marvin snapped. He ran at it, swinging his hammer in rage. But Tim stopped him just in time. If that hammer broke, they'd lose their only way to fight back. To calm Marvin down, Oswald aimed his gun at him. But in a split second, Marvin grabbed it, spun around, and fired 3-4 shots at the wall. The bullets never reached it. Instead, they froze in midair, suspended, and then reversed, slamming straight into Oswald's chest. He collapsed on the spot, dead. Leah screamed and pointed straight at Marvin, blaming him for the killing. They'd tried everything, every possible way out, and now there was nothing left to do. Exhausted, broken, they gathered in the hall and started sharing the darkest memories of their lives. Yuri spoke first, revealing he was a cop. "I've killed people," he said, "on duty and off." Then Olivia, her voice low, trembling. "2 years ago, I lost my baby." That's when Tim exploded. "And what's the point of telling everyone this now?" Olivia looked straight into his eyes. "We lost a child, Tim, together, but you never talked about it, not once. You walked out of that hospital and sat straight in front of your computer. I can't live with someone who's turned into a machine. You don't feel anything anymore." Tim shot back. "If I don't work, how will the house run? You think I should just quit my job so I can take you on vacation?" After the bitter argument, once Tim finally cooled down, an idea hit him. Maybe they'd missed something. He grabbed Marvin and Anna and headed back into Friedman's apartment. Meanwhile, Leah and Olivia were deep in Anton's old notes. From the looks of it, Anton had been trying to crack the strange pattern on that mysterious door. His business card revealed he was a programmer, once employed by a cutting-edge tech firm called Epsilon Nanodefense. When Leah opened his desk drawer, she found a broken laptop and phone inside. Yuri muttered, Anton had gone mad, obsessed with unlocking that door, probably smashed his own stuff in the process. While digging through the trash, they found more notes, with what looked like a code written on them. Leah began to wonder, could this be the key to the door? But once again, Yuri stepped in with a warning. If you open that door and the toxic air outside gets in, it'll be over for everyone. Back in Friedman's apartment, Tim discovered a hidden room. Inside, a device, a control unit designed to open that door. It had a 10-digit input system, meaning hundreds of possible combinations. Unlocking it seemed impossible, but Tim got clever. He gently blew a thin layer of flour over the keypad, revealing the fingerprints. Only 4 numbers had been pressed. The code was just 4 digits long, which meant only 24 possible combos. Tough, but not impossible. As hope sparked again, Anna rushed toward Anton's place. Yuri and Leah soon followed, but Leah hung back. Something wasn't sitting right with her. She was starting to put the pieces together. Meanwhile, Tim took a wild guess, and the door opened. The moment he stepped inside, his eyes were hit with blinding light. A high-tech computer system hummed inside, and on the screens, live camera feeds from every single apartment. Marvin had suspected it all along. This was some twisted, secret game, and rich people were watching it online from somewhere far away. Friedman? He was probably broadcasting everything right from here. But it got worse. There were recordings of people's most private moments. Tim played back the night it all began. In the footage, the brick wall could be seen slowly swallowing the building. Watching it in slow motion, it didn't look human. It looked like alien technology. At the same time, Leah was starting to crack the code in Anton's notes. She hurried to his room. When she lifted the scarf from around Anton's neck, her eyes froze in horror. Deep bruises, clearly from strangulation. And right then, Yuri appeared behind her. Elsewhere, Marvin noticed Yuri had suddenly vanished. Suspicious, he grabbed a large knife and went searching, room by room. Finally, he found him, inside Anton's apartment, burning the notes. Marvin knew something was off, but then he saw it, lying on the floor, Leah's body. And just like that, everything made sense. Yuri stood up, voice cold. "These walls are here to protect you, but if you won't listen, I'll have to make you understand." Tim by now had figured out who Yuri really was. He grabbed a gun and ran. But by the time he got there, Yuri was already strangling Marvin. Tim lunged forward, but Yuri twisted and disarmed him too. In seconds, he had both of them at his mercy. But just then, Marvin fought back, and somehow the two of them managed to pin Yuri down. But by then, 4 people had already lost their lives because of that cursed wall. Time felt frozen. No one knew what to do next. That's when Marvin and Anna made a promise. If they ever made it out alive, they'd get married. Tim, too, finally apologized to Olivia for all the wounds she'd carried alone for years. They began to piece together why Yuri must have killed Leah. Maybe she had figured out how to open the door. The burnt notes found in that room hinted at it, and there, just above them, was a smoke detector. Hidden inside was a camera. Anna went to check it right away. Meanwhile, Tim noticed a charred piece of paper with something scribbled on it, intervals code. If Anton really did crack it, it made sense. He was a programmer. He worked for a high-tech firm called Epsilon Nano Defense, headquartered in Hafen City, the same Hafen City that recently went up in flames. With nothing else working, they turned to Yuri, hoping to force the truth out of him. But he kept repeating the same line. There's poison in the air, nuclear fallout, and the wall is there to protect you. That's when a much bigger question came up. If going outside was really so dangerous, why was Anton trying so hard to get out? Clearly, Anton and Yuri had opposite beliefs. Anton thought it was all a system failure. Yuri believed the outside world was toxic. The two clashed hard, and in that fight, Anton lost his life. Fueled by rage, Marvin beat Yuri half to death, but even then, he wouldn't give up the code. Just then, Anna found something in the camera footage that could change everything. They all ran to the room with the camera. In the footage, Anton was seen working on a computer. He was building an app, possibly to unlock the door. After hours of coding, he took the phone and walked toward it. That's when his phone's flashlight blinked 3, 4 times. And right then, Yuri attacked him, silencing him for good. When they rewatched the footage, something clicked for Tim. It wasn't an intervals code, it was optical, like a QR code. Anton had scanned it with his phone, and the blinking flashlight, it wasn't random. It was acting like an electromagnetic pulse. The door wasn't just digital, it was light reactive. Tim now needed Anton's phone. Once he had it, he recovered the data onto another device and launched the app, aiming it at the brick wall. 4 square buttons lit up on the screen. He pressed each one. Every time, the flash blinked a different number of times. That's when the wall began to move. The pattern started shifting, and within seconds, the wall transformed into a portal. Without hesitation, Anna reached in with a finger. Nothing happened. She pushed her hand in, and just then, Marvin came running. He had left Yuri behind and tried to stop her, but it was too late. Anna's hand was stuck. They all grabbed her and tried to pull her back, but the portal was dragging her in. In a heartbeat, half her body had disappeared into it. Then suddenly, the portal began to close. Anna was swallowed whole, just like Friedman. Marvin broke down, screaming, crying, but Yuri, he stood there, laughing at their helplessness. Marvin had had enough. He shot Yuri right there, and then turned the gun on himself. Now only 2 were left in the room, Tim and Olivia, and for hours, they didn't say a single word. They just sat there, in silence. And then, Tim finally said the one thing that had stood between them all this time. He told her that when they lost their child, something inside him shattered. To escape the pain, he built a wall of work around himself, because every time he got close to Olivia, that memory would come rushing back. For the first time in years, they let it all out, the grief, the guilt, the silence. And in that moment, they found each other again. Not long after, they decided to try opening the door one more time. This time, Tim started with the lower button. That's when Olivia had an idea. When Anton had opened the door, the camera footage had captured the number of flashlight blinks. When Tim pressed the first button, it blinked once, the second, 4 times, the third, 6 times. That meant the number of blinks was the key to unlocking the sequence. And the pattern, the exact sequence, was already recorded in the footage. Without wasting a second, Tim and Olivia studied the video carefully. They cracked the pattern, designed the code, and got ready. One more time, they scanned the brick wall, button by button, in the exact order. And then, it opened. They walked through a tunnel for what felt like forever. And then, freedom was right in front of them. But the moment they stepped outside, their hearts sank. The entire city, everywhere, was wrapped in that same mysterious brick wall. Every person, locked inside their own homes. It was like the whole city had been sealed away. In their RV, there was a radio. They turned it on, and a government broadcast came through. It said a massive fire had broken out at Epsilon Nano Defense, triggering a catastrophic system error, one that had unknowingly activated a hidden security protocol. The government was now doing everything it could to fix the disaster.